I'm just getting so much hype that I'm getting scared. That's very interesting. I didn't know that he already shot the second part. So when is the release then? So we have a Ponniyin Selvan one interview by film companion with Aishwarya Rai, Mani Ratnam and AR Rahman. Just 2 days to go for the film. Very much excited. Let's see what they have to say.
I'm sure it can be done as 5 different films, maybe 10 different films is possible. But I think the budget that we had did not allow more than this, I think.
Two is it?
Two is good enough.
And with him, again, I told you about the trust. When he trusts you so much, you feel like tyranny. You feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I'll score it with the keyboard. And he'll say, oh, this is fine. I said, no, it's not fine. We'll get real brass from, Budapest, and we'll get Firdaus Orchestra. We'll get Chennai Strings to do this stuff. It's sounding good. Why is he doing this?
And then when you think you haven't hit it is when he's like already moved from behind the camera. It's a cut and he's gone. And you're like thinking that worked, like what happened? But he knows what he got. And it's just about keeping that search.
I never scream.
You never scream?
I started screaming.
No.
You started screaming?
Yeah.
So lovely to have the three of you on film
Aishwarya looks so different.
companion. Congratulations on PS1. This trailer is spectacular. Cannot wait to see the film. There's also other things to celebrate. It's 30 years of Mani Ratnam and AR Rahman.
Yeah.
What a formidable body of work the two of you have created. And I just wonder, when from Roja to PS1, how do you see each other's sort of evolution as artists? Have you changed a lot? Has your working style changed a lot?
He might answer differently. I might answer differently. That's
So who's going first?
No, I don't think it's really changed at all. I think he's just evolved, and I've remained in the same place, and he's kind of evolved. And I think
How is that possible? Everyone evolves, right?
the spark that we saw when his first film came, the desire and the search. I remember first in Roja when he did compose a tune and gave it to me, and it was just outstanding. And if you tell him it's outstanding, it's not enough. He'll keep at it, and that hasn't changed at all. Until today, it's the same thing. I think the kind of work that he's done for PS1 and this background score that he's done
Amazing,
is
yeah.
just outstanding. Yes.
And do you find him changed in any way?
No. I mean, it's,
3 decades later, you're both the same.
yeah, I think we were both searching for the same thing.
Which is what?
Interesting.
Excellence and imagination, always.
How lovely.
And, when we know that, the commonality is that. And so when he trusts me so much, that's tyranny for me. So I get, oh my God, what do? I don't think he'll just throw it on my face. I can't give this. So I do my censorship before I give it to him. And sometimes I just give him like vocal note. I'm on flight, hey, how about this tune, sir? I like this. So recently I scored like a 6-minute sequence in the movie, and I was like really proud of it. I'd done, like 40 different parts and strings and brass and percussion. I said, man, I've just synced it and nailed it. And they said, what about this 3 months back you gave a tune? Can you put that? I said, oh my God. So I had to throw it all. And he was right. Because it was generic, what I did. And then he had a purpose in bringing that tune into that. So he has that objective vision about even music.
And this happens a lot. And it only happens where someone has that power like Mani Ratnam, because I can only talk about student films where we like, whatever happens, just do it, there's no rethinking or redoing. And we don't, waste scenes. Like if we have shot something, let's have it in the film, even if it's not, slowing down or destroying the pace of the film. So all these things, right? When you have such power and you're at a place where you just want to do the perfect thing and you have the time and the budget to do it, then only you can pull that off, And just to say to AR Rahman that, oh, I know you spent so much time on this, but I want the one you did before. That's a big deal.
So I trust blindly. I'm ready to throw anything for us. And sometimes I say like, did you miss this? So Nenjikula, which is a big hit, I thought he was going to pick it up. He didn't pick up. He picked up Moongil Totem. Then I said, why don't you pick up? So he picked up both the tunes, which are meant for one situation.
It's also 25 years of Aishwarya and Mani Ratnam. Iruvar was in 1997.
Oh yeah,
You're
I've seen
counting.
that film.
I am not. But how amazing that the three of you have
Just about AR Rahman, right? Like we just saw Bombay, and oh my god, the music. Oh, amazing.
Such an enduring journey. You, of course, have always called him Guru, right?
Absolutely.
What is it that he does that other directors don't?
I trust. like Rahman says.
Yeah.
And that's scary. It's just, it can't be put down to words. Firstly, like he just mentioned earlier in another interview, which is a fact. I have been an admirer of their work, right? So, as millions. And to have gotten the opportunity when finally I, as a student the night before, and then that Miss World and all that just happens, and then you're all along, you're being courted, you're being kind of invited into the industry by very, very respectable directors, and it's all there. But then I know my truth, and I know that I'm coming into this world of cinema where it's not a fly-by-night thing for me. It's not about the glitz and the glamour, and it's not about the peripherals. It's about belonging to this world that I respect, the creative, forces that come together and create this magic in. And I want to contribute. I want to be part of this as an artist. And it involves learning. I'm forever a student till this minute. And that was my beginning. And then to have got the opportunity of even a call from him, I was over the moon and all. Again, these are all like trivial words to actually express what I was feeling. And then he wonderfully said, Iruvar, your role in this is not a launch film. I'm not launching you, and this is not about all that. These are the characters. This is what you'll be seeing. This is the movie I'm making. And I was like, yes, I want to be part of a Mani Ratnam movie.
Mani sir, this film is, of course, a sort of Herculean labor of love, right? And expectations are massive.
Anupama ma'am loves that word, Herculean. I've seen her like so many times. She used that in an interview, like for Triple R, I guess, or many interviews.
It is arguably the greatest novel in Tamil literature. I was speaking to a colleague who writes about Tamil cinema, and she was saying that her and her friends actually went on a PS1 sort of traveling tour because you go to the locations that are mentioned in this novel, right? The fandom is so frenzied. And yet there is a part of the country, this part of the country, where we're not so familiar with these characters, with what happens. How did you wrestle with that? Creating a work of art that pleases the purists, but also seduces the rest of us.
That's actually my question, to him. I wanted to ask because watching the trailer, everyone's like, read the books. It's okay, don't read the books. Read the books. The whole debate about this, right? And I want to go in purely without knowing anything. I want to be, dazzled by the story, not knowing anything, what the twists and turns will happen, not knowing anything about the world. And I think for me, I believe this. It's the the film's job to tell me what the world is, what the characters are, and the film cannot expect me to first read the book and then. That's not how it works, right? You can expect audience to know everything, research, and then come watch a movie. So let's see what he has to say.
I think it was there in the book.
It's there.
I think it's there.
You don't have to know.
You don't have to know. People who become big fans of the book, before they read the book, they probably didn't know that much about Cholas either. This opened the doors and made people more aware of it, and then they started picking up more. So this, in a lot of ways, the book has been path-breaking. It's kind of blended fiction and history very, very well in Tamil. So I think it's, if you're true to the story, if you're true to the period and convert it, genuinely, then I think it's open for anybody. It's cinema, and it's a story. It's about characters. It's about a period of Indian history, and some of the characters were real, and we see how they get formed.
Do you agree with the label Tamil Game of Thrones?
No.
No, no one's going for that one.
No,
No, this is a
I
very
think-
original
Yeah.
script because
Right. No,
yeah.
but I think meaning in the sense it's a quest for power. And the sort of twists and turns and the betrayals and the treachery and all of that.
Maybe Game of Thrones is a English Ponniyin
Version of
Selvan.
Ponniyin Selvan. That's right. I love it. I love it. Aishwarya, let's talk about Nandini, who's such a beguiling, complex, ultimately sort of tragic figure, you know, in a sense.
So human, no?
So human. So human. What she wants, why she's angry. And
Please don't spoil anything.
I heard that Rajni sir at the audio launch or the trailer launch said that the film should actually be called Ponniyin Selvi because she's the hero, right? But she's also the antagonist. There are many other characters who call her a she-cobra. And I'm like, wow, who is this woman who's sort of wielding her beauty as a weapon? Like, how did you get into her head?
Wow, who is this woman? Mani sir, let's discover her together. That's precisely
She sounds
it.
so fascinating.
That's precisely it. And discovering her together through his vision was just, I think, as an artist, it's fulfilling to get the opportunity to essay a character like Nandini in a Mani Ratnam movie. A special experience for an artist.
Did you?
So maybe Mata Hari got inspired by Nandini.
That's right.
See?
Let's just trace back everything to PS1. Right? But did
The
you?
original.
Did you sort of add to the fiction, or was the book required, or were the cues from your screenplay? What did you want your actors to do?
No, I wanted them to make it
Interesting
real. That's
question.
all. I mean, Nandini is written in the book. Nandini has been transferred onto the script, but it has to come to life in front of the camera. You have to, see what this lady thinks, what is her feeling, and what is it that she puts in front, and what is behind her. You have to see both sides of it, and that's a magic of cinema. Is that what requires several pages or several paragraphs in a book is brought out by one expression, by one posture, by one.
Interesting.
So I think when we converted it into film, that is what we went to capture that in every moment possible.
But how did you decide on the music? Because I saw an interview the two of you did together, and you said that he no longer gives you.
I'm just getting so much hype that I'm getting scared. Like not that the film will be bad and all, but I'm just getting too scared because my expectations are so high. I'm just every interview, every video, on social media, the hype is so much right now because I'm also right now watching House of the Dragon, the prequel to Game of Thrones, and again no comparison, but watching that I'm like oh, we have something in India also which is so detailed, so about the power, as Anupama said, right, the treachery and the betrayals, and like we have a story like that coming on screen. I cannot wait to see that, and I'm getting just hyped up and I'm getting worried also at the same moment. I don't know what to do.
Specific song situations. It's more like a mood and a tone, and then the two of you co-create where the music has to come in. Is that how it worked for this film as well?
There are certain situations he gives, but yeah, we're crazy. So for this, what happened was I had done around 10, 12 tunes based on Carnatic and trying to be very authentic and all this stuff, and he didn't respond to anything. I was trying to play ragas and maybe it's not good enough for him. Then I said maybe he's trying a very contemporary and for today's audience. So we should not be puritanical and think nobody knows what 9th century sounded like.
Right.
So you have to use your imagination. So that was the right thing. Then it took like two process to get there. So I said, let's take me to Bali because I heard the conquest of the Cholas in Indonesia and Thailand and all that stuff. And there's a legacy of Mahabharata and Ramayana there. So we went to certain temples. We just saw the monkey chant and them singing and the kind of pure souls they are. And that inspired me a lot. And then I did around 20 odd ideas. He didn't respond to that for a month. And then slowly picked up one and by one.
Wait, stop it. When you send 20 ideas and he doesn't respond to for a month, what do? Or this is par for course, you don't get stressed.
No, I don't get stressed. Sometimes you feel like, for any creator, you always fear that tomorrow I'm going to get up and I won't get any tunes which is likable, or nobody's going to like my stuff. They're
The
throwing it on my
doubts.
face, and then you cross that, and then in this I thought, okay, that's it, I'm done. He doesn't like any of those, and then slowly picked up. Oh, what about this for this song? I said, okay, one tick mark, and then I think very few tracks were added after that jam session we did. We went in the Bali, the kind of music and the way they did the monkey chant, and you see that influence actually.
Yeah.
So what maybe from the 9th century it went and they kept it pure? Who knows? So
But that's the thing. You're talking about 9th century characters in a book that was written 70 years ago. And yet the most sort of compelling historical cinema is cinema that speaks to contemporary reality. So how does Ponniyin Selvan do that? How
Very deep question, huh?
does it speak to where we are today as people and as a society?
I think the content in Ponniyin Selvan book is very relevant even today. I mean, the struggle for power, the grouping, the conspiracies that happen within the politics. The politics of it is absolutely the same. There's no different.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Thousand
It's
years,
enduring.
and
I
we're
mean,
still
whatever
living
the time,
Nothing,
it's
nothing.
enduring. I mean,
under
the fact
power,
that
there's
it
always
is-
evil.
yeah, basics
And
are
when
the
there
same.
is when there is evil, there's always a story.
Right, this is true.
When there's evil, there's a story. Nice.
Where there is evil, there is a
so
story.
it is
And the
very
evil
much
is the goodness.
contemporary. Huh?
Yes, where there is evil, there is goodness
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So you're saying those elements are timeless.
Absolutely timeless. And I think the characters are also in that way shades of us. Each one of us you can see within that. And one day when we try to make it into a film, the approach was not to shoot it like a period film, in the sense like it happened long back, this happened long back, and shoot it like from a distance, give it a tone, make it look like how period films are supposed to be. Wanted it to be like we were there at that point of time. Wanted it to be contemporary.
More immersive?
Yeah, more immersive and more, I mean, with all the ups and downs and all the dirt and muck and, so that you feel that you're there and it's not like a distant view of what happened, So the
Interesting.
and once that approach was what we went for, it kind of defined everything else, the way we would shoot and how much, what kind of tone that we'll shoot with, whether we'll go with handles and things like that. All of it gets defined by, the concept of how to shoot it.
Yeah. But 5 volumes in 2 films.
Yeah.
How did you decide what to keep, what to throw?
That's a question in every one of the films that we
I
have.
met all the
It's
actors and they're
amazing.
like shivering. What scene it's taken off? All of them are like,
How much
I don't
have I
know what he
made?
cut off. Is this scene there? Is this scene there?
But that's always on every film of his. I think he knows
Yeah, no, I
the
think-
story he wants to tell.
I think when you convert it into a script, you have to follow some spine and go with it and take that. I think my writer told me the best line that I've heard before the film. He says, read the book once and then throw it away. Okay, before you do the film, then you write, So
You
it kind of,
reinterpret.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I think essentially we followed the spine, really. I mean, Kalki's novel goes through one character called Vandiyathevan, and through him we travel and meet everyone else. I think
Karti's
that,
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a path we've also taken. But
Okay.
I think when you convert a 5-part book into 2-part, there's some parts you should know how to skip and crunch, and some characters that you leave out, and try to get the honesty of this within this. I'm sure it can be done as 5 different films, maybe 10 different films is possible. But I think the budget that we had did not allow more than this, I think.
2 is it.
2 is good enough.
But you shot 2 without waiting to release 1. That's not something that happens very often here. You know, everybody who's doing 2-part projects usually waits to see how the first part does. And then even Bahubali, they'd shot a part of part 2, but not the whole thing. You finished it.
If I had stopped to get all of them back,
Yeah.
it would
That's true. That's
have
true.
been possible. And 2, we looked at it this way, not as 2 films, but we looked at it as one story.
One story. Yeah.
Got it.
It's a 6-hour film, you know. So we tried to do it as one stretch, you know what I mean? So it was not very difficult. Once you have that mindset, then it becomes a single film, and we try to do that.
Well, I kind
you
of
know-
got that from the beginning from him, though.
Oh.
He was all along telling his story. He was making his whole film.
Yeah.
And then then the master of editing decides what he'll keep, what he'll do, and how he chooses to intrigue the audience by making it into 2, because there's so much to tell. As you're saying, 5 volumes, even to 2 is like huge.
Yeah.
But all along, he was making his film. He was telling his story, you know. And that's something I got from the beginning from him.
That's fascinating.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that he already shot the second part. I hope so. When is the release then? Maybe they're in the post production of the second part, but maybe next year, in the early next year, we get part 2. That'll be pretty interesting. Because I don't think it will matter if the first one, what does it do? I'm sure it will, at least first weekend, it will be amazing, and then how good the film it is, the word of mouth will travel. But yeah, man, that's pretty interesting. They shot both together, and the point makes sense, right? That to get all these actors, you know, at the same time. If I think they had waited, it would have taken 2-3 years again to make the film. So that's a good decision.
I mean, to stay sort of the course for 150 days and just keep going. And maybe you should look at, once part 2 is released, sort of do the 6-hour cut. You know, fans come in to see, they spend half their day watching it at length,
Yeah.
right? That could be
With
From
2
someone who loves
intervals,
cinema.
3 intervals.
Dropping it.
Yeah, I'm like, just for some of us.
Consider it.
Yeah, consider it. Yeah, you said in an interview that you should try to be uncluttered in your art because there is so much clutter in life, which is so lovely. How do you do that? How do you try to be uncluttered in your art?
I think there's so many distractions. Even as an artist, you get called for many things. So you need to find where to stop. Like where to stop and how not to overthink, how not to be too smart. Too smart actually against spots. So you have to leave certain things to chance, to nature, to the universe, to God, to sort things out. So just be on your mission, like the Gita says, do your karma. Rest, leave it to. And I love that. And I feel like sometimes people say, hey, this movie is a very small movie. Why are you so working so hard? But my work. But yeah, I think 30 years later, who knows who's going to hear this? But if I feel like this is less or this is more, I'm not being true to my work. And even if one person sees, one person hears a song, you should feel my sincerity. You should feel the team's sincerity. And with him, again, I told you about the trust. When he trusts you so much, you feel like tyranny. You feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I'll score it with the keyboard. And he'll say, oh, that's fine. I said, no, it's not fine. We'll get real brass from, Budapest, and we'll get Firdaus Orchestra. We'll get Chennai Strings to do this stuff. It's sounding good. Why is he doing this stuff? But then with today's technology, the more sometimes less is also very more.
Yeah.
The more is about quality, about even bit rate and how you record and frequencies, so people notice all this stuff because now it's very explicitly clear.
Yeah. So you just stay the course and don't put value judgments on any project. It doesn't matter budget, stars, nothing. It's all equally important.
Absolutely. And people like him, if you do 1x, they make it look like 10x or 100x. So it's convenience for us.
Yeah.
He's just a nice guy. Says nice things.
Okay, let me tell you. So now she comes into the project with the respect as a guru.
Yeah.
Right? So now I got a song and she lip syncs it. It goes 50x. right? So it depends. The song can be sung by anybody. It could be lip sung by, people do all this stuff. So that's what I'm talking about. So when somebody's searching for excellence, your work gets in multitudes. Like,
I mean, you get the opportunity to work with talent like this. Your work actually, is even noticed or even appreciated or even analyzed. Or
It's all interdependent, right? Like good music will make the film look good, make the performance come out. The songs will add more to the narrative. Good performance will elevate everything. So it all like a balance, right?
critiqued, but you actually get to work with talent like this. So it's all synergy, and I mean, as we listen, as we talk, you keep hearing the core is spiritual connect. It's about staying true. It's about authenticity. It's about being genuine and earnest in your commitment. So, I mean, you'll hear these words oft repeated when we speak, but then that's the unifying creative thread, dare I say, where I think the attitude towards our craft is pretty much that. It's about just staying true and being hungry and looking to. I mean, if whenever he says that I did 20 and presented, and then you wait and then you kind of see. We are all doing that on set also constantly. You'll do a take, and while you think, that will, then you just get so like, okay, you haven't hit it. And then when you think you haven't hit it is when he's like already moved from behind the camera. It's a cut and he's gone. And you're like thinking, that worked, like what happened? But he knows what he got. And it's just about keeping that search, keeping that creative hunger, whetted, and you love it. You actually, it's very, very satisfying and confusing, and at the same time, it's infectious. It's
somebody
great.
told me yesterday, sorry, all of them are heroes. They all worked as single hero. All of them are joined together with the trust that this master is going to make it.
No, look
Absolutely.
at this galaxy of stars.
Yeah.
It's
All of them
incredible.
Look at
Each
the
time we work
pressure
in
that you're
faith.
putting on me.
We work in
That's what they
faith.
said. Yesterday they said that. Only you could have brought them together.
That's the journey. No, it's the journey. And like you're saying, now you're sitting back and you're smiling. Then you let the film what it has to do.
Yeah, each one of them. But so tell me, the ultimate compliment from Mani sir is when he's finished and gone on to the next set.
He's already moved.
Huh.
He's already moved
Then
on
he
to the
liked the
next
shot.
setup.
You were good.
Yeah. It's done. Now he's more indulgent. He's been more indulgent, no doubt. It's very, very see. Now when you get a and all that, you're like flying. It's like amazing. Or he just come in that's one scene, and suddenly from behind there was this, and then suddenly there was a hand on the on the shoulder. You're like, oh my God, he's here, and he's actually just done this. It's amazing. But then I think that's the way we work with your guru, right? You're just waiting to you don't know when, what, how, and it's just magical when you actually get that. Even just the smile and the nod. What he's doing now. Oh my God, that's amazing.
I mean, the most incredible thing for me is 40 years and still.
I like how they are from themselves are talking, instead of asking everything one by one, and like kind of spoon feeding kind of a thing, and trying to get answers from them. They are so involved themselves that they are talking about it.
Making movies, which is relevant,
Yes.
which is cutting edge. There's so many people who have learned from him.
A whole generation.
Yeah, a whole generation.
Absolutely.
And still he wants to do it. And that is a statement.
And this
And what a movie. And during COVID time.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. Under the circumstances,
COVID.
my gosh, to have done this, to made movie, both the parts already. Under the circumstances,
He's
it
our
was
Kurosawa.
amazing. Amazing.
Kurosawa did it when he was 18.
18.
And what a film he did.
So tell me, sir, in this making 2 films during COVID, all that you had to deal with, like this galaxy of stars and incredible technicians. Look at the technical crew on this film. Did you ever have a day when you felt overwhelmed? Does Mani sir ever get stressed?
I'm stressed every day. What I'm saying, I'm stressed basically with my work, that I start off thinking that I don't know how to shoot this.
You think that?
I really don't think.
always says
I don't know how to.
Okay, you look
I
at a
start
camera
off.
and
We
you
don't
say, I
believe,
don't know
but
how
he
to shoot
always
this.
says
Yeah.
Always.
Sometimes when you start a film, you have no clue how to get into it. I mean, there is a way, and then it leads you. But the same thing happens with the scene. When a scene is there, it's all right to sit on a table and write about it, but you have to get 6 different people to exchange. What do you do? How do you shoot it? Now, so you have to constantly figure a way out, and you have to constantly see that there is something extra that happens, some magic that happens in terms of performance, in terms of the pause, in terms of angles, in some way, that the actors feel that they're in real position and not doing it for the camera. So I mean, that search kills you. So every film is like, is every scene is really difficult to actually shoot. But if you manage to shoot it and slightly better than what you thought you would, then you feel good about it. But sometimes you don't. When you go back in the car, you realize that you missed one shot. Maybe I should have taken it like that. I mean, that doesn't change. It's there from the first film.
But it was incredibly
The hunger is always there, right? You're never satisfied.
calm during the making of this.
No screaming?
I can't, incredibly, I'm not about screaming, no, incredibly calm and
I never scream.
I
You never
started,
scream?
I started screaming.
no.
You started screaming?
Yeah. As you expand, the more people, I think that's when they understand, oh, he's not upset. Let's not do that. I have to pretend that I'm angry.
That's so funny. You don't
I
scream.
don't pretend.
But you're not a screamer. You're
I'm a screamer.
I've seen,
But in
I've
my
seen him
mind,
scream.
I'm not a screamer.
I've seen him
In-
scream.
I scream.
I've seen him in the past.
Ask
but in
the
this one, I
assistants.
didn't.
They
But in
run.
this one still, I mean, given the
Calm.
magnitude of what you were
She's seen
doing,
my worst, so she thinks it's better.
he's better behaved now.
Grown up.
No. Well, I live with the ultimate screamer, so I'm sure you're much better behaved. I'm sure you're
People don't know she's married to Vinod Chopra, who's a big producer and director also.
way more elegant. Okay, last
The
question.
dictionary of bad words.
I know. Poor AR has been subjected, he's seen him in full flow, though never at you. He loves you.
That
Loves.
was a great experience.
Yeah. And he saw the trailer of the film and just loved it. But before I leave, I have to ask all of you, if you were to speak to people in this part of the world, again, people who don't know Ponniyin Selvan, what is the one thing about this story that you love and you really want to share with people? So we'll start with, you've been a fan for decades.
Yeah. I think this is an adventure. I mean, this is probably the first adventure novel that I've read in Tamil, in Indian language. And I think it's written so well, so excitingly, that it is meant for cinema.
It's a page turner.
And not only a page turner, it's IMAX. That's what the book says. This is an IMAX film. Do it like that.
How wonderful. That's terrific. Aishwarya?
we heard it from the master himself. It's like we were saying right from the outset, I think human drama and the politics of the narrative is ever enduring. And to actually go and get an insight into a piece of history and what history, even though fictionalized, is fascinating to experience it in a Mani Ratnam movie, a Mani Ratnam narrative, and with his music to actually evoke that kind of an audience experience in the theater. I think it would just be fascinating to view, experience, and live with this narrative for what it is.
In my opinion, I think people lack motivation now. And most of us don't know why we are born. So we look at South India. This movie actually emphasizes on the achievements of your ancestors. When you see that, you get inspired. Oh my God, I live in such legacy. What am I doing? I just can't celebrate that legacy. I just want to do something. I think it's going to evoke that passion. And even if you look at cultures, people condescend, okay, you're from South, you're from North, you're from East and West. I think it's so important to revive and show people what we're made of. And this, I feel that this would end all that, divide, and it will help us celebrate each other.
Sounds terrific.
Yeah.
When am I seeing it? Thank you. Thank you so much, and all best for the film.
I think the last question was, when are the press screening? But man, cannot wait for the film. A lot of great insights from the video about Ratnam sir and about how AR Rahman, works. I think it's a good thing I was watching some more Ratnam films before Ponniyin Selvan. So I'm like, I understand where he lies, and the video will be soon out on the channel where I talk about all of that. So do get to get that, check out that channel too. But again, if you like this, like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thought in the comments below. Until then, you can check out this video next. I know another interview is out, and that will be coming soon.